In this lecture, I'm going to briefly cover the challenges of moving a WordPress site. I'm going to do this by comparing it with a static site, which is mainly created in HTML. If you're not familiar with HTML, it is basically a markup language, not a programming language. Anyway, so WordPress is basically a type of software that runs on your web server. Comparing with a static site, which is basically made up of simple markup language, or more known as HTML, just as I mentioned. A metaphor I like to use when explaining this to my students is to imagine your WordPress site being your operating system of your computer, while a static HTML site is, on the other side, a collection of various files stored in a folder on your computer. So basically, moving the files in the folder is easy. Just copy them to an USB external hard drive or similar and you're done. However, for the operating system, you need to actually first copy it properly, then move it, and install it on the new computer, and finally create all the search path, make sure that the drive labels are correct, etc, and million other things. So this is the first challenge. The second challenge is that WordPress is made of PHP, which is Hypertext Preprocessor. This is something called a server-side scripting language, which is mainly designed for web development. PHP is mainly popular these days and is often used as a general purpose programming language as well. A lot of the different sites you see on the internet today, and even the most popular ones, are actually built by using PHP. If you compare with a static site, which is only created in HTML, there is usually no programming language involved at all. Sure, you might embed PHP code in your HTML, but the site itself is actually not dynamic but static, which means that there is actually no programming whatsoever involved. So the third challenge is that WordPress needs a database in order to function properly. All of your content which you publish in your posts and pages are stored in database. Comparing with a static site, it actually doesn't use any database at all, but all the content you see on a specific page or post is actually stored in a single HTML file. So you can basically move around this HTML file to any space you want, but with WordPress you can't actually do that really that easy. The final challenge I want to cover is that WordPress is basically made up of two parts: the files, which are the PHP files, and then the database where your content is stored. This means that you will often need to do a lot more in order to move a WordPress site comparing to a static site. So those are few of the challenges that you will face when moving a WordPress site. But don't let this discourage you. I assure you, there are zillion of different reasons for why you should use a WordPress site compared to a static site. In my experience and opinion, static sites are something of the past and the WordPress is the future. Alright, stay tuned.